Hello viewers, this is Paladin of Odin, and this is some more Magic the Gathering Online. This is another episode of the Standard Commentary Series, and I think we've got 4/5C Control versus Blue-Black Mill. And I know I've done a 4C Control video recently, but I've been seeing Mill more often, and I wanted to see how Mill tries to handle something. Because typically, uh, I see them get crushed because they don't have enough answers to the threats that end up on the board when their strategy is all, I'm just going to draw a ton of cards and mill away your deck and blah blah blah. Like right now, he's facing off against a Sylvan Advocate, which, it's a decent creature. He hasn't gotten it up to the 4/5 yet, but it has no protection from anything. The problem is that he's only running blue and black, which means all he's got at his disposal is direct kill with black and bounce with blue. And control throws out a Siege Rhino, which he responds with Anticipate. And one of the problems with Anticipate is you don't draw cards with Anticipate. It puts the card in your hand. You don't draw it. So Siege Rhino knocks him down to 7, but it's back to Mill's turn. So he'll get to mill some cards here. And now we get to see whether or not he can handle this board or not. Another Sphinx's Tutelage. That's not going to keep you alive. All he has to do is play a land, and he has lethal. And he plays a land. And he mans up the Shambling Vent. Now, if Mill can kill one of the, kill the Sylvan Advocate, for example, he'll live. If he kills Siege Rhino or Shambling Vent, he still dies, so he has to kill the Sylvan Advocate, because it's making the Shambling Vent a 4/5. Or bounce the Sylvan Advocate, it doesn't really matter at this point. He has to remove the Advocate from play. So attacking all in here, does Mill have an answer? Because if he doesn't, he's dead, and we'll just go to game 2 and see if he can have a better run. Murderous Cut, you've got tons of cards in your graveyard. Ultimate Price, he's a single-colored creature. And he does have Murderous Cut. So he kills off the Sylvan Advocate, which will keep him alive for one more turn. So he's at 1. Okay, Sphinx's Tutelage, double Tutelage, so control is down to 20 cards in his deck. It is possible for Mill to actually take him out here. He mills 4 cards for every card that he draws. Okay, Oath of Jace, that's 3 cards, so that will be 12 cards off the top of his deck. Not counting sharing colors. So it's theoretically possible that he just won the game. But we'll have to wait and see. So he discarded Read the Bones and another Sphinx's Tutelage. He doesn't have the mana to activate Tutelage, but he got rid of Read the Bones, which could have... Yeah, it would have given him the game, so I assume he has another draw spell in his hand, because control's down to 4 cards in his deck. And Treasure Cruise. That was a win on the slimmest of margins possible, but Mill proved to me that this blue-black version of Mill proved to me that they can, in fact, deal with big scary creatures. And he threw out Dark Deal on top of that to force the win right there. He could have just passed and still won. So let's go to game 2. Okay, strong start from Control. Second turn Sylvan Advocate. Third turn Sylvan Advocate. Double Dismal Backwaters gained him 2 life, so that's why he's on 20. He's going to take 4 here unless he has a response. And that is the big problem with most mill decks. They have the same problem as most ramp decks, is their early game is really weak. Duress from Control. Response from Mill is Anticipate. And he gets rid of a Sphinx's tutelage, leaving him with Dark Deal, Read the Bones, Disdainful Stroke ×2. No, ×3, and a Murderous Cut. Well, he has plenty of ways of making sure that a Siege Rhino never hits the field, but he draws his card and concedes on turn 4. He must have felt that he had no way of being able to come back from that. I would have at least tried the Dark Deal. But I guess we're going to game 3. Okay, so Duress got rid of an Oath of Jace, leaving Mill with Murderous Cut, Anticipate, Murderous Cut, and he fired off the Anticipate. And they had a little bit of a chat, talking about, the way it sounds is, the Mill deck has, this guy's particular deck, like he needs to, add a few things, like might be missing a few key elements or like a couple of copies of something. But it sounds like Mill is even worse after sideboard. Okay, Murderous Cut kills off a Morph, which was a Den Protector. But not nearly as fast of a start from the control deck this turn or this game. So that actually works out very well for the Mill deck. The problem is that he's down to 4 cards already. But that's one of the things that Mill can do, is they draw a lot of cards. So he's passing back. And he has 4 mana open. So he probably has a counterspell in his hand by now. Or it's possible that he doesn't. But he does have a Murderous Cut. Well, no, he did have a Murderous Cut, sorry. Goblin Dark Dwellers. Responding with Disdainful Stroke, so he did pull a counter. Dark Dwellers would be hard for him to deal with outside of a straight kill, and it would have gotten him a Duress so that he would have been able to get rid of another thing out of his hand. Treasure Cruise. So right now, it looks like Mill is just desperately trying to dig through his deck, dig as deep into his deck as he can to get everything that he needs. Oh, and another Duress from Control. And really, Control is doing exactly what he needs to do. You know, he probably sided in extra copies of Duress. Gets rid of Treasure Cruise, leaves him with Dark Deal, Island Anticipate, Murderous Cut. Oh, and a perfect time for a Sarkhan. No counters, no way to kill it. So Sarkhan's going to get in for 4 here. And Mill's at 21, so 4 will only take him down to 17. So Sarkhan isn't that scary right now. But it would have been preferable for the Mill deck to be able to counter Sarkhan, as opposed to have to deal with him now that he's on the board. Sphinx's Tutelage. And Dark Deal? Unfortunately, he was pretty low on cards, so he didn't get to mill very much. But more importantly, his opponent's now on 1 card. Oh, and it got rid of a Crackling Doom, a Siege Rhino, Sylvan Advocate. Lots of quality damage dealing right there gone. But Control has a Kalitas now. Man's up Sarkhan again. That'll be 4 more damage. Mill will be down to 13. And things are starting to look very bad for Mill. But he is playing a Mill deck, so he can draw a lot of cards, and since he has tutelage in play, the more cards he draws, the more he mills off his opponent. But he's got to start pulling answers. You know, at the very least, to be able to kill Kalitas or Sarkhan. You know, Ruinous Path would be really nice right here. Treasure Cruise. That'll get him 3 cards. Mill off a minimum of 6. Wow. So that was impressive right there. So Control's down to 22 cards in deck. Oath of Jace, that'll be another 3 triggers. Discards 2 land, which, you know, he doesn't need any more land at this point. So 16 cards left in deck for the Control deck. 3 mana up for Mill. Sarkhan with Kalitas is only 7 damage, so this is another tight race. And something I was just thinking about was, this is doing a pretty good job, you know, blue-black. But what I was thinking is, honestly, I would be wanting to run a third color just to get some more, like, creature kill options. Control throws out the Hissing Quagmire, or mans up the Hissing Quagmire, sorry. So that will be 9 damage this turn. But what I was saying was, you know, honestly, I think I'd want to go with the Grixis model to add red so that you have options like Fiery Impulse and Roast. But red also has draw spells too, so it wouldn't actually, it wouldn't be a bad choice. Though keeping it to 2 colors streamlines your deck, so it should run more efficiently, but at the same time, the whole concept of this deck is drawing a ton of cards, which can solve almost all of your problems, given enough time. And Murderous Cut to kill off Kalitas, so 6 damage, so he'll be down to 7. So, at the moment, he has 2 turns left. Okay, mills off 2 more cards. Anticipate. And as we saw in game 1, it's entirely possible for him to nuke the Control deck's deck from this point. 3 mana. Read the Bones. So that'll let him draw 2 more cards, possibly, well, mill 4 cards or more. But he has to kill him here now, because he just went down to 5 damage, and Control can deal 6. Oh, he just threw out the GG. I think he forgot about that. Either that or he was, oh wow, four lands in hand. That is brutal. So he got screwed at the, you know, goal line. But that was a good match. That was 4/5 seat Control versus Blue Black Mill. And if you liked what you saw, hit that like and subscribe button for me, and I'll see you in the next video.